What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we've been looking back in the past just a little bit. We're going to tell you guys some professional stories maybe you wouldn't even believe, maybe potentially, or that you will find intriguing. And we're going to challenge ourselves to kind of bring up some stuff we haven't thought about in a while, John, and probably stuff I've never heard, and vice versa from me to you. I think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think when you go back in the archives of your brain, and we live in this kind of thought process of, seize the day, push forward. I guess, at least speaking for myself, I forget about a lot of things that professionally took place, and some of them are amazing. So yeah, I think this could be interesting.
And you're already half laughing, so that's a good indicator of what's coming up for you next. But first, it's brought to you by NetSuite, John. Listen, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And NetSuite has just an amazing amount of things that they offer from a platform standpoint to help you guys out. But what they're giving you guys free today is their 7 key strategies to grow your profits. Go to netsuite.com/biceps today. NetSuite by Oracle. Check it out. So, John, I know you got a story already burning. I can kind of hear it through the microphone. So please, John, please, let's hear story one.
Okay, so we're gonna call this story Blindfeld. Okay, it's like Seinfeld, but if you put a blind in front of the FELD, we're gonna call this one Blindfeld. And this story is 1,000,000% true. Okay, just want everyone to understand. So, when I was moving over from just operating a retail establishment, online and physical, in the gym, under the MMA Stop name, I was moving into the sports agency business. My first hire for the first iteration of the company before parts of it got purchased was called VF Elite Sports Agency. And the first hire that I made was recommended to me by my partner at the time. He said, listen, I was talking to this guy who's like a life coach for Alex Rodriguez, for Tiger Woods. And this guy is extremely connected. He's extremely successful. And he had this great intern that just, I think, would bring great energy to what we're doing and trying to start. And I said, okay, great. Bring him in if you can, and let's interview the guy. And he said, okay, just one thing for you to know. I said, okay. He said he's blind. I said, okay, well, I was like, how's he going to get to work? And he was just like, I think he just has some modes of transportation, if you will. I said, okay, whatever modes of transportation he has, he has. But either way, bring him in. Let's talk to him. So he came in. We're not going to use his real name, although I really want to. But Blindfeld came in and was an amazing interviewer. Now, one thing he couldn't do was look you in the eye because he was blind, right? So that part of the interviewing, I couldn't really zero in on, like, kind of trying to feel, what's inside of him because he's blind. And but I couldn't really tell he was blind. He was just like fucking, like, his eyes were squinty and like he just looked off to the left. But either way, I'm an equal opportunity employer. So I said, I like what you have to offer, Blindfeld. You seem like you are hungry, and let's try something out. So Blindfeld got hired. And Blindfeld, his job was to reach out to companies that were potentially interested in marketing in the UFC. And Blindfeld wanted to work from home. Well, I said, listen, Blindfeld, while you're learning this business, I think you need to work out of the office here. And, we had space at the gym and at one of the stores. So I said, either this location or this location, you need to work out of here just so I can kind of hear your calls. I can kind of guide you. He was always respectful, but he pushed back hard on working from an office, not working from home. And it got to the point where it was like, listen, bro, you got to work. You got to work from here because you are not developed enough to work from home. So Bleinfeld accepted. And he came in and he would always fill out his like fucking Excel spreadsheet. And there'd be like fucking 11 or 12 phone calls, and he'd be there for like 7 or 8 hours. And, I thought to myself, I said, am I like discriminating against a blind person? Like, does a blind person have lower output because they can't see like the phone numbers? I didn't know. So I talked to him. I said, what's the deal here, man? The output fucking sucks. You're 12 calls in 8 hours. What the fuck's going on here? And he goes, well, I think a lot about. I said, okay, well, here's the deal. I don't fucking care what you think about. I want you to understand this is how we do things here. And no call is a bad call as long as these companies are, and we had certain pre-selected categories. So he said, okay. And then he pushed back on me again. I don't want to work from an office, transportation, and he really honed in on the transportation thing. And I'm like, maybe it is for, a blind person to get around. He always talked about rides and, different public transportation, systems that he had to do. Maybe it really is wearing him down. Maybe it's really hard on him to just get places because he's blind and he can't drive. So I said, okay, we'll try out you working from home this week and we'll see what happens. And he was like, okay. Well, it was terrible. His output was terrible. It was disgusting. I said, you're back here. So after about 3 days of me calling him back in, he calls me into his little office, which I think I put him in like a filing cabinet or something. It was really small. I don't think there was air conditioning in there either. But either way, he called me in there and he was crying. And I said, Bleinfeld, what the fuck's up, dude? Why are you crying, dude? And he's just like, I'll never see it. And I'm like, you'll never see what? He's like, I'll never see the sunset in Africa. I'll never see that. I'm like, well, doesn't that kind of come with being blind? Like, is this new? Is this news new to you? Like, cause I thought, being blind, you can't see that. He's like, I've always wanted to go on an and this is true. I've always wanted to go on an African safari and I'll never be able to do it. He's like, I think the stress from this job is making my eyesight worse. I'm like, dude, I thought you were blind. Like, he's like, so how could it get worse? He's like, I am blind. I'm fully blind. I can't see anything. But I'll never. He kept bringing up Africa. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with what, dude, you're blind. If I was blind, I wouldn't talk about, seeing the fucking beach.
Anything.
Right. Yeah. Because bro, the lights are out. You know what I'm saying? The lights are out, Bleinfeld. And so here's what happened. So he's talking about going on a safari and this and that. I said, Bleinfeld, here's the deal. I think you need to take about a week off and you need to kind of figure out exactly what you want because you're struggling. And I don't know if it's the car. I don't know if it's the public transportation that blind people take, which I don't know what mode that is. But you need to figure out what you want and you need to come back. And we'll talk about it. He said, okay, fine. Well, I think that was on a Friday. And Tuesday, on my way to fucking work, I'm driving, and I fucking hear this absurd rap music, like doom doom. When you're driving, like someone's got like a fucking kicker in their trunk. Exactly, like doom doom boom boom boom.
I used to be that
and
guy.
I hear it, and someone just fucking zooms by me. And cuts me off. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I kind of caught up to him at a light. And I looked over.
It was Bleinfeld.
And it was Bleinfeld and a group of 5 friends. He wasn't wearing his glasses. He's absolutely not blind. And he was driving a car blasting rap music. So this whole act of like squinting his eyes. I'm telling you, this went on for 2 months, and wearing blacked out glasses. I literally saw him at a stoplight blasting like Tupac with his homies, and like smoke was flying out of the car, and Blindfeld's a fraud. Blindfeld defrauded me.
That's terrible. I wonder when you're calling him Blindfeld this whole time, like, John's being disrespectful to this blind dude, and it's because he wasn't blind. He just made it up. That's amazing.
He was driving like a fucking Denali, and he just flew by me. And I pull up, and there's no black glasses. The eyes are fully opened. I see the pupil. I see the pupil. No, he did not see me. Oh. I see the pupils for the first time. Smoke's coming out of the car. The homies are there. And it's Blindfeld. So I actually, he should be referred to as Ryan from here on out.
So let me ask you this. Now I got a bunch of questions. Yeah. So when you realize, as you're sitting in your car,
I was so fucking shocked.
Oh, I'm sure, right? Like, if I could see, like, if I could.
Because think about it. He was crying. Think about it. This guy was crying to me about not seeing the sunset in the Serengeti in Africa. And now I see him flying past me with Tupac on, smoking weed.
Think about it. Think about his play, though, right? Let's flip it to degenerate style for a second. The reason why he pushed to work at home is because he wasn't working at all, and because he wasn't blind. So he would sell an employer that he's blind. The employer would feel bad for him.
What kind of ball sack you have to have,
dude?
You know what kind of ball sack you have to do that, dude?
A huge ball sack. So then you get you prey on the employer being nice, who lets you stay at home and do no work and get paid.
Corey, when I interviewed this guy, he was squinting his eyes and looking off at like 10 p.m. into the sky like fucking Ray Charles.
Dude, that's epic, John.
I mean, that would be like me trying to get a job when I'm 20, fucking rolling up in a fucking wheelchair and sitting on my legs and saying I'm Lieutenant Dan.
I just wish I could go back in time and see the shock on your face.
Oh, honestly, I started laughing. I started laughing so hard, and I'm like, "This is the biggest fraud I will ever meet."
Like, how could you not?
Dude, this guy, every time I talk, you got to understand, it was like 2 months. Every time he's looking at the sky, his eyes are squinted. I'm like, dude, I can't even see it. Like, what's up with his, like he puts on he puts on like blacked out glasses. Like, you know, I'm thinking like, how does he, does he take a Segway here? I didn't know how he was, his mode of transportation.
A blind guy driving a Segway?
I didn't know if they had sensors.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like a canine. Like a canine.
I can't believe that's never came up before till now. That's pretty amazing.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Wow. Well, as you were talking, I was thinking about the first person I ever fired, and it was kind of an interesting story. I had a personal training studio for a lot of you guys that don't know, like I started as a personal trainer in a small gym, and then I started my own studio. Well, the studio was only probably 900 square feet. So it was under 1,000 square feet. It's not very big. And I was in that same spot. A lot of people don't realize that this is part of my story for 3 years before I ever scaled up. So a lot of people see like Old School Gym and some of these other things. They don't realize like I spent about 10 years in these small facilities building my business. Well, part of my business model was having other trainers pay me rent, or I would take a percentage of their money and work up under me. So I was always the believer of you push yourself out of the old spot, not grow into the new one. I don't know what your thought is on that, John, but that's how I like to do it mostly, especially being that young a business. I'd rather be stepping over people, and it's like I have to have a new spot, not anticipating that I'm going to have this big spot and then pay more rent, right? So I'm at that spot where I had just literally, I had 7 trainers that were renting from me. Now we're talking like $200 a month, but that means a lot for me when I'm a kid trying to pay rent and I'm like 20, 21 years old, or at that point, maybe 22. Anyway, so my 7th trainer, he's a fucking problem. He's a fucking problem right out the gate. Up to that point, I had no issues. everybody fell in line. Everybody treated the facility, which when I say facility, that's a little bit of a stretch. It's pretty much a closet with some dumbbells and a couple machines, but we'll say my facility. And I had literally, right before I hired him, which he was kind of a wild card, I kind of liked him, but then wasn't really sure. But anyway, I was giving him a try. So he had worked for a few months and he paid his money, but I always was having little problems with him. So here, I barter, which for you guys that have never done this, I bartered new carpet in my gym, which I got to tell you, I was so excited about because the carpet, when I got into this facility, it was electric blue. It had holes in it. It was a ladder closet for literally like when they were rehabbing the mini mall I was in. That's what they used it for. And then I rented it as my personal training studio. So I find this kid, he wants to trade personal training sessions for new carpet. So we got new carpet. So I come in, John, right? I've had new carpet in my gym, which I'm proud of, that I've been in for 36 months. I'm finally starting to get some money in my pocket. I come in, and this guy, unbelievable. He has a rug down in the middle of the gym, like a rug like you'd put out at your front stoop or whatever, and he's pro tanning himself for his bodybuilding show, with one small rug he's standing on in the middle of my brand new carpet. Now, for you guys that don't know what pro tan is like fake spray tanning shit that people wear on stage for bodybuilding shows. It's impossible to get out of your clothes. You look like a fucking, like the worst tanned person of all time, but that's what you have to have on to compete. So unaware, by the way, he's like 27 years old. I'm like 21 or 22. He's so unaware how bad it is that I walk in and this kid, and on top of it, he just had a baby like 2 weeks before that. So I walk in and I said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh man, I got it. Like I'm standing on this mat, bro." I said, "Step off that mat and pick that mat up." John, if you could have saw the outline of the tanning that was on my brand new carpet in the middle of my fucking gym, and then how clear it was on the mat he was standing on, I thought I was going to fucking kill him, literally. And I didn't care that he just had a baby. I didn't care about, and I was like, I don't know that I had at that point experienced that type of rage within a business setting, because I had worked guys, I opened this gym for $5,000. No one really had a clue what I was trying to do. Like I was on my own, and I had finally got it to a point where I was proud when I would walk in and I had some equipment and my carpet was new and I was like starting to feel like it was really working. Right. And this motherfucker, unaware, comes in and just basically stains the fuck out of my whole place. Dude, I wanted to kill him so bad that I just flipped the fuck out. Get the fuck out of here. You're fucking fired. Don't ever fucking come anywhere close to, and I said this, I don't give a fuck that you just had a baby 2 weeks ago. Get the fuck out. And I lost it and fucking had to walk outside. It went crazy. And it was like, I could not believe, I was in disbelief of the unaware of how much I had, put into it and how much he devalued that and just stained my whole fucking gym. It was unbelievable, but it just popped into my head, and there wasn't really any comedy around it, but it was more about when you work with other people, that there's an expectation that you should set, and that I thought firing somebody would be difficult because I'd never done it before, but actually the first time I fired somebody might have been the easiest of my entire life because I was ready to fucking kill him. Literally fucking kill him. It was they do happen. And people, with both stories though, think about it. People don't automatically respect what you're doing. That guy literally just disrespected the fuck out of all my hard work for 3 years of trying to get myself out of this coal mine and not do the same pattern, and just disrespected it all over. That other guy just straight fucking lied to your face to steal your money, and then fucking
it was much more than that. It was fantastic. I mean, looking back, it was a great move on his part.
No, it was actually pretty smart. But it's like you're going to work with other people along these processes, and things are going to constantly come up. Maybe
Yeah.
not as
I can tell you about
dramatic
something
as
that came up at the gym. That's
Good.
you reminded me of the gym. So I had a great member when I used to run a gym. He's a fantastic guy, really nice. Not going to say his name, but he was a overly sexual guy. He enjoyed talking about the ladies in the gym, and he enjoyed everything about the gym. He enjoyed spending time there and showering there and everything. And one day, I got a woman who came up to the desk because I was managing the gym, and she said, well, I'll say his first, Ronnie. And she said, Ronnie is running. Okay, so the way the locker rooms were set up was there was a water fountain, like there was actually two water fountains, like right in the middle, and then there was two hallways. The right hallway was the women's, and the left hallway was the men's, and then they both made a hard turn, and then became locker rooms. Well, that hallway was like probably 20, 25 feet long where the water fountains were. And this woman came up to me, and she's like, Ronnie is running laps in the hallway and all the women want to leave. I'm like, okay, I'll tell them to fucking run laps like fucking somewhere else. Like, I'll tell them to go outside. She said, no. He just got out of the shower and he's running laps naked and his penis is flying everywhere. And I said, I said, what? And then another woman came up to me and she said the same thing. So as I go back to try to stop Ronnie from running naked and swinging his penis back and forth because Ronnie was aggressive sexually, Ronnie just decided to walk out of the locker room, I think from his laps, naked, to the front desk. And he walked up to the front desk of the gym with probably about, I don't know, 80 or 90 people. And the first thing that I saw was his penis. And Ronnie said to me, he said, Johnny, I heard there's a problem. I said, Ronnie, I said, fucking grab that t-shirt off the fucking rack and cover your fucking dick when you're talking to me, dude. What the fuck? And he's like, I'm just having a little fucking fun. And then he showered up and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Well, unfortunately, he got reported to corporate. And I couldn't do anything about it. If I could have kept him, I would have, because Ronnie was a fantastic addition to the members at the gym. But corporate terminated his membership, and Ronnie was not allowed to swing his penis around the gym anymore.
So how far is the walk from, let's call the locker room, to the front desk that he
had a good 60 feet. He had a good 60 feet. And listen, Ronnie was a strong guy, but Ronnie had a gut. He also had a fantastic balding ponytail. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And he also, had no regard for clothing. And he was, he thought it was glorious, the walk he made to the front desk, and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world. But it was, it got him
so
terminated.
He really saw no problem in it.
Oh no, he was having a blast. He literally thought the gym was his home. Like, he thought it was his home, and he just thought he was playing a joke on some people. And he thought that, running ladders back and forth in a hallway naked was something that was okay. And it ended up not being okay. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would be crazy is you're watching him walk towards you.
Yes, I am.
You're probably thinking to yourself, is this motherfucker really walking naked to the front desk of this gym right now? Absolutely. Right? Like, what are you, you had to be chuckling to yourself kind of the same way as you were with the blind guy that's not blind.
Well, the Blindfeld was like that. I said to myself about Blindfeld is I don't know if I'll ever meet anyone in my lifetime who has balls that big to try to sell that. I mean, that's, again, if I were to try to sit on my legs and say I was like I got them blown off and like I'm in a wheelchair and try to get like loans that are beneficial to me. I mean, I don't know anybody who has those kind of balls. So Blindfeld's a special case. And the fact that I didn't just see him driving, but I saw him driving with his homies and rap music and You know, there was smoke coming out of the car. I think made it amazing. But Ronnie was just a happy guy, you know, who maybe enjoyed being naked more than most. And he was just having a good time, Corey. He was just having a good time. But you cannot swing your penis around in public places. You just can't do it. No.
Man, you've had some comedic shit happen in the gym, bro.
Oh, I've had a lot. Yeah, a lot. See, you got to remember, part of the reason I had a lot of comedic shit going on is because I was so young when I ran that motherfucker that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we called those days Jack and AC/DC. So what we would do is buy a bottle of Jack and only play AC/DC in the gym, and everyone knew that I was wasted, and it just created an atmosphere of like you're either like on this team that knows the general manager is a fucking 20-year-old degenerate, and you have fun with it, or you don't. So yeah, we did a lot of great things. You know, a lot of sexual activity, tanning rooms. Yeah.
Sexual activity in the tanning room. Great.
Oh, absolutely. You want to talk about guaranteed privacy with no cameras?
Yeah, it's true. Never thought about it like that. I had somebody ask me the other day, because I might have talked about it a really long time ago, but they wanted to know the story on how I basically kind of started supplements. Because you think about like starting to produce supplements, there's no real I remember when I was thinking about, you know, I want to create my own protein, or I want to do this or do that. I could really not, the resources were much different than they are now on the internet, but I could not really find a way to like literally like manufacture, get started. There wasn't like a lot of information. And I still think almost kind of similar to the sports agency thing, John. I think sometimes things that we've done or aspire to do, they're not real clear cut on how you actually start them. Sometimes I think that's accurate to say, right? There's a little bit of a kind of like
personal initiative. Yeah. Initiative.
True. Yeah. But I think like, if I think back to a lot of people, you know, I was into taking supplements and into it, but a lot of people ask me like, how did Salt, the old MP thing, how did you start the pre-workout? And it really came down to, once I met my old business partner, he literally sent me a baggie of the pre-workout in the mail with no label, with no dosage, with I literally had, it literally looked like I got a bag of cocaine in the mail in a baggie, in a sandwich bag. Like it was like 2 servings. It was literally like a sample, right? But it had like nothing with it. So I take it into the house I'm living in a really small log cabin at the time with my wife, and we have 1 child at the time. And I take it in, and I'm like, tell Rach, I'm like, you know, this is this new pre-workout. If I like it, I think I might, you know, go into business with this guy. And she's like, oh yeah? She's like, well, what's in it? And I'm like, I don't know. And so I'm literally at that point, I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know this guy at all, really. I met him on the phone, basically. Did some research.
The odds are pretty high he didn't send you cocaine, though, because there would be some significant costs there. So
correct.
Yeah.
But if you
that'd be very nice of him if he did.
Yeah, I might have been better off if he did. But so no, I can't say that. But if you think about like when people think, I guess kind of the point of why I want to tell the story is, people think about these grandioso type of occurrences that start things sometimes, I think. And part of it is obviously personal initiative, what you said, John. Part of it is being so inquisitive about stuff that you're just getting into it, figuring it out along the way. And eventually you end up probably running into other people that are in similar curiosity circles of towards like wanting to be in these industries. So anyway, I try the pre-workout. I love it. I think it's not what's on the market, which is almost cocaine, basically, which is the 1,3-dimethyl, which was Jack 3D and some of these others at the time that were like killing people. It was much different than that.
Killing it.
I mean, literally killing it. Right. And I literally took it, knew it was better than these others. And that at that moment told Rachel, I was like, I'm going to become business partners and with a guy I don't really know that well from Denver that has similar goals as do I, and that whoever put this together knows what the fuck's going on, because this is the best shit on the market right now. And I literally, it sounds crazy, based that starting essentially of Muscle Farm, which became a big company and had its faults by far, but became a big, pretty successful company from that occurrence of meeting somebody through somebody and getting a baggie with zero information on it to my mailbox in Pataskala, Ohio, in waging my basically gut feeling slash, off of that's literally how it started. And then it progressed from there. But there's it literally started at that basic of a level, and then to see where it then grew to, and then just supplements in general, the morph of that baggied formula all the way into a portion of that formula is a portion of Max Effort Muscles formula. Much better, much improved, much different than that, because now we've had an evolution of me being involved in supplements for over a decade. But that's the idea and the basics and literally how it started. And on paper, this is the one thing I'll close with from the story. On paper, if you read about the person that I was partners with, and then in the situation of how it got sent to me, and the ups and it would have been 9 times out of 10, or let's say 9.8 out of 10. I don't believe the person being me would have went further with anything past that, to be straight with you. Like, when a lot of people think that sometimes these business things that you do are just like a clear cut shot, it's a winner, you must have knew it was going to be a killer out the gate. I didn't. I wasn't even so sure about what I was doing, who I was going to do with, what kind of quality I was going to get. It was called Muscle Quest. It wasn't even called Muscle Farm at that time. Like, there were so many variables that it shouldn't have worked, and it did to a certain degree. And people need to know that there's so much uncertainty in these early parts, especially early in your career, that you make them what they are because you want it so bad. They're not just clear cut winners. And it was just such a random way that it happened. I was not looking for it at all. And it became what it became. But that's literally day one of how it even became anything. It's interesting, huh?
Yeah, a bag of cocaine and it turns into a company. I like it. I like it, but yeah, it was not cocaine.
Would have been different. It was not cocaine. But from it to start from that kind of, I guess, inception of not, really having any prior relationship with Pyatt, to not even know what was in the baggie that just got sent to there was not a lot of dialogue to this point. It was very oh, give it a shot. Let me know what you think. It was strange, dude. And then for it to morph to what it did, to where John and me are running millions of dollars of advertising together in the UFC for me just getting a fucking sandwich bag. But that's
sandwich bags.
Kind of wild. Yeah. So anyway,
that's intense, man. I have a story that has absolutely nothing to do with business that I think people might enjoy.
Please,
let's get some hear about it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think this was during the period where I used a lot of drugs. So one night I went to Hooters, and
there we go. There it is.
I listen. I had great people at Hooters. Okay, especially the service staff. Built a great relationship.
You were servicing John Bosco.
Built a great relationship with the workers and the service people that some would call heroes at Hooters. And so either way, one night I was at Hooters, and I got a really good what was it? Their buffalo chicken sandwich. You can choose, I think, 5 Mile Alarm or something as their highest spice. Well, I chose the middle spice, and it was a great choice, and it was actually recommended to me by a female who worked there. And I said, hey, thanks for that recommendation. Fucking sandwich was amazing. And she's like, oh, it's awesome. That's kind of what we do here. We recommend what's good. And I was like, okay, cool. What are you doing when you get off work? And she's like, hey, we're gonna go grab a drink, all of us at this bar next door. I said, okay, cool. We'll connect. And she was like, cool. Very, very normal, seem normal person, normal girl, good looking girl, very good service, very good person. She's a terrific person. And basically we met up at this bar, and we ended up having a lot in common. So I ended up saying, hey, would you like a tour of my place? And she said, sure. After the bar closes, I'll have a tour of your place. So she came back to my place, and things started getting interesting. And I was like, I was open to it. And so, everyone knows what it's like when things start getting interesting. They start getting interesting. Well, she stops me in the middle of activities, and she says to me, I have a question to ask you, and this may seem weird. I said, okay, go ahead. She's like, are you sure you won't think I'm weird? I'm like, well, you fucking keep telling me you're fucking weird, and the question's fucking weird. Just fucking say it already. She said, okay, and we were sexually active. Okay. And she says to me, she says, I want to lay on my back, and I want you to poo on my chest. And I said, what the fuck did you just say to me? Because, poo and sex to me, they don't mix, and they're probably the two most disgusting things. She says, I would really love it. I would just really love it if you pooed on my chest. And I said, you got to get the fuck out of here. You're fucking nuts. You're fucking out of your mind. Get off my fucking bed. And literally, as I'm fucking just shooing her like a fucking rodent off my bed, she's like, will you at least pee on me? I said, what the fuck is the matter with you? You want me to poo on your chest? Now you want me to fucking pee on you? I said, what the fuck is wrong with your head? What the fuck is wrong? She said, just please, before I go, if you're going to kick me out, just pee on me. I said, oh, you really are going to fucking push me after yes to get pooed on. Now you want to get peed on. I said, come here. I pulled her into my bathroom, and I put her in my shower, and I just grabbed my dick and I started pissing all over her. And I said, now you can fucking leave. And she was satisfied. She was satisfied, bro. She was so fucking sexually satisfied from getting pissed on. And I was pissing on her because I had been drinking. And I just started, I just started fucking, moving the magic wand all over from head to toe to everywhere. I was just pissing all over her. And I basically gave her an old bath towel. I put it around. I said, get the fuck out of here. And that was a story that didn't have to do with business.
How can you feel good about getting pissed on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't rationally make sense of how that arouses somebody.
Well, she wanted to get pooed on. She wanted to get her chest pooed on. And she had rather large breasts, and she wanted to get pooed on. And I did some Google research after this incident, which troubled me. And sure. I guess some people are into that. I guess they like fecal matter sprinkled all over their body. And really? I read that Dave Matthews, very prominent singer of our time, I heard that he's into, pooing on people.
But I don't understand. So where do you, this is where I
mean, I had an erection. Like a really good one, until she asked to be pooed on. Corey, things were going great.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, where do you go from there, right? Let's say you go through with it, John, you shit on this chick's chest. I can't believe I just said that.
Well,
but like, then you just like, oh, hey, I'm good. Let me wipe my ass and peace out. Like,
so
that, you know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Yes.
What?
From my reading,
what?
So let me tell you about my reading. Okay. So from my reading, what I've read, I'm going to just emphasize that. What I've read is that people who want to get pooed on,
okay,
they have no self-worth. So because they have no self-worth, what greater act than literally being shit on exemplifies that? So because they have no self-worth psychologically, and this is according to what I've read, not only do they want to have that proven in the most disturbing manner, which I experienced, but apparently if there is someone who volunteers to prove it, apparently they like to rub it in.
Oh,
like what? Like one would semen. You know?
Wow. So you can tell me the truth, John. No one's listening. You didn't think about it even for 1 second.
Not even for one. But I was
just kidding.
I was proud of myself that she pressed me on it. I said, "Oh, you really want to get peed on?" And because I had to pee, I made sure that she was in the shower, and I just fucking fire hosed her.
Well,
I think a lot of pee, Corey.
I don't even know where we could go from there. So I don't know if there's any other. I don't know.
We can wrap the show up. We can wrap the show up after that.
I think we'll just wrap it up after that.
A fake blind man, Ronnie's penis, and pooing on chests.
John, Fosco.
We need another. Thing after business and biceps and some I don't know,
something else. I must not have either did enough drugs or lived enough because I don't have any stories like that. I'm telling you stories about how I got bags of fucking supplements in the mail. You're talking about shitting on people or not?
Yeah,
declining sex acts that are.
Yeah. I accepted more sex acts than I declined. So, for the record.
All right. Hey, it's brought to you by NetSuite.
Oh, NetSuite.
NetSuite's giving you guys 7 key strategies to grow your profits at netsuite.com/biceps today. If you don't know your numbers, you do not know your business. So go download that. It's free for you guys. And after that, Johnny Fosco.
Gee.
Can the podcast be stopped?
No, there ain't no way. The podcast
can't
be stopped.